recall upon our memories we've had over these years at St. Therese. Before we all separate and go our different ways, let us take a look back over these years to see how we got here.
This journey started for us 8 years ago. Kaylani, Nate, and I joined Nadia in Miss Lucer's first grade class. We had some good times in first grade, showing our show and tell items to the class, going to the picnic patch and the pumpkin patch, and riding in Hummer limos, dancing to the Cupid Shuffle in the morning and Advent candle lightings in the hallway. Now looking back at us, we are all so different and we have changed so much.
Next up is second grade with Miss B. Miss B taught us Spanish, but it was mostly numbers, so it wasn't hard. We had fun traditions like got to dress the principal for a day and got to throw pie in his face.
After Miss B, we moved over to Mr. Lazo and added Ardesia. Mr. Lazo gave us time multiplication tests that I was just so good at, they had to create an award for me. Being in Mr. Lazo's class meant that we got to watch and learn about the life cycle of a salmon. I'm personally not the most patient person, so watching the salmon grow felt like it may take my whole life. It obviously didn't because 5 years later, it felt like just yesterday. I can remember Mr. Lazo rapping to us and the whole class just hyping him up.
Now was fourth grade with Miss Sambo as our teacher, and Mr. Nelson just an assistant. We had Paris to the class, and when she came, I thought she and Ardesia were twins. They both had glasses and everything. Miss Sambo could get very strict and loud, but she did have fun and provided us with pom-pom parties and golden ticket parties. Trust me, when the two people got chosen for the golden ticket parties, it was like them against the whole class. Everybody was jealous and felt some type of way.
Fifth grade with Mr. Nelson, we add Jasmine and Javier. This was Mr. Nelson's first time teaching. I would say he did a great job, except for when I broke my wrist and no one called my family, and I sat in after school care till 5 p.m. with a broken wrist just dangling there. It's okay, it toughened me up. And then we went to Camp Hamilton, climbed a rock wall. Some of us made it to the top, others not so much. Paris. Mr. Nelson made us and prepared us well, and we headed to middle school.
Next up is sixth grade. Our first year in middle school with Miss Crummy as our teacher. We had Ismail, Summer, and Jordan to the class. With Miss Crummy came Cornell notes, and everybody hated those, but she also came with fun. She made up this game called Traskball to help us study for tests, and since it involved shooting, of course, I was the best at it. It's like if you're on my team, it's an automatic win. Singing was basically a class tradition because we did it so much. We sang a Jesus song for prayer service, a song called Say Yes, like every week, the rose for the 8th grade graduation, and we made up a song for our album in math class called Flip, Skip, and Multiply, with the producer being Mr. Nelson.
Seventh grade was a little chaotic. We had a little trouble throughout the year and were talked to by Mr. Nelson quite a bit. We made so many memories at science camp with Miss Sullivan, pranking the boys' cabin late at night, bonded the girls all together, and may have upset some of the boys. For good reason, some of them did get a broom pushed in their face. We were closer by the end of the camp and had learned more about nature. Once we had gotten settled back into school, they canceled one of our all-girls PE, which another student and I had planned a water balloon fight. This turned into an all-middle school water balloon fight down at the beach, and I thought was a great way to end the year before we had to start thinking about high schools and being the oldest in the building.
Our last step on the St. Therese journey is the 8th grade year with Mr. Nelson. Although we didn't get to finish it together, we still had some good memories. We had a snowball fight and took walks around the neighborhood. Now that we've reached the end of our time here at St. Therese, we've come to realize that we are where we are because of each other and our teachers. Let us not regret, but be thankful for the good and bad times. For the good and bad memories we've had, and let us remember that the family that prays together
stays together.